Hello guys, welcome back to the video. So in this video we'll be discussing about the possible deficiencies and observation with respect to ECDIS and the possible questions what an inspector can ask you, and also we'll be looking at the best practices in regard with the ECDIS. So let's get started with the video. And we will be seeing what an officer on watch and second officer must know and what all questions an inspector might ask you regarding ECDIS. So first of all, let's start with an inspector might ask you, show me your ECDIS version or what is your presentation library. So my ECDIS is Furuno FMD 3300, and we will see from where you can find your ECDIS information. You see this icon right over here, we click and we go to about. Here we can see about version, ECDIS software version, and your presentation library. Everything you can find here. System 1, what is your system specification, and for 1 is your primary and system 2 is your secondary, and you can find here. You go to another ECDIS, it will be system 2 information will be available here. Okay, then this is your applied standards. This you can show to the inspector if he is asking, but generally they ask for show me your ECDIS version, and when was and your ECDIS version should be the latest version that is available on Furuno FMD. And also he might ask you when was the last time you updated this version. So actually you should know when was the time and date, when, and port also. I mean last port where was ECDIS software version was updated, so you must be knowing that. An inspector might ask you that show me what is the current ENC. So for current ENC you right click and go to chart legend, and here the name you have this. So current displayed ENC is BR401711. This is your current ENC, and you can also see the chart datum here. Your chart datum is WGS84. He can ask you these two questions: show me the ENC name that is currently displayed and show me the chart datum. So you have to go to chart legend in order to show, and you can directly see zone of confidence also when you go to chart legend. There is no need to switch on CAD zone accuracy in the display layer menu. You can directly see for some specific ENC. For this ENC it is CADZOG B. Okay, coming to CADZOG, he can ask what do you understand by zone of confidence. So you need to reply that zone of confidence is basically gives you an accuracy of position and accuracy of depth. By accuracy of position I mean let's say any charted object you can pick up. For instance, let's say any buoy or any wreck that you see, what is the accuracy of that charted buoy? That depends upon your CAD zone. If that charted object is lying in CAD zone A, that means the position of that wreck or buoy will be more accurate, and same goes with the depth. If your CAD zone A, CADZOG A, then you have higher accuracy of your depth. Then coming to SCAMIN, he will ask you what is SCAMIN. So SCAMIN means scale minimum, and from where you can switch on and off. You go to menu, come to basic setting, chart display, just a moment, chart display and general, scale minimum. What scale minimum does is basically it is used for approaching and departing. You don't use this in OpenSea. So when you are approaching any port, you will see a lot of information which you might not need, and basically what happens is when ECDIS is showing too many information, then it becomes difficult for the officer on watch or an ECDIS operator to identify what information he truly needs and what he does not. So this identification between information takes time and also affects your situation awareness. There is this time, so that is why we use scale minimum. When you select this, the information which is generally not needed, which is not very important, is hidden, and when you select, when you make is disable, and again all information comes back. So an inspector might ask you what time you keep the skill minimum on, so you need to reply that in any moment of monitoring I always keep this on, especially during arrival and departure, but when I am doing passage plan I keep this scale minimum off, because the logic says when you are making passage plan you should have all information. So that is why when making passage plan you keep scale minimum off. So coming to symbols, paper chart and simplified. So see your company SMS, what does your company SMS suggest, to use paper chart or simplified? You can use any, simplified is better. Paper chart is your standard display, you can use paper chart if you're comfortable, or you can use simplified. But if your SMS implies that you need to use paper chart, then make sure you have paper chart. If your SMS does not say anything, then you can choose between two, because the inspector will come and say show me as per your SMS what is required, and if your SMS is paper chart and you have selected simplified, that could be a deficiency. So better check your SMS in this regard. Okay, for the AIO, he might ask you why these AIOs are off. So the logic is AIO, every watch you turn on AIO and save to see if any AIO is lying on your route. If it is lying on your route and it is of any concern, then you manually update, or you make a user chat for that and you update, and after that you deselect and again you save, so that this AIO which is coming will be gone and you have a user chart on the display for your affected route. Okay, so he might ask you about this AIO. So just to answer, you need to answer him that I keep AIO off for monitoring purposes because it clutters my display. So I generally switch on AIO temporarily and see if there is any AIO affecting my route. If it is affecting and it is of any concern, then I will make a user chart or a manual correction for it, and again I switch off the AIO. So this would be your answer. And for passage planning, obviously you keep AIO on for passage planning. This is very standard questions. He will come and check your overlay. Overlay should be working on both ECDIS with both radars. Okay, so this is very important. It says no data because my S-band radar is currently on standby. You go to here and you will see. So this is your overlay. It should be working. If there is a difference between your AIS position and your overlay, then you need to change this and make it synchronize. Okay, also PI, this I will come later to user charts. PI, look ahead setting, this is also very important. Your look ahead setting, your CPA TCPA should be as per your SMS what they suggest. Especially your lookout should be minimum as per your SMS when you are approaching. Then inspector might ask you show me how you make playback. So playback is also a very important function of the ECDIS. So for playback you have to go to others, and here is playback. So you select, let's say for 8, I approach here on 8. Let's check for 8. So now your playback is preparing. You can select time here, from what time between these date you want to see. Okay, let's go on 8. Your vessel would be around here. Yeah, so this is my vessel. You can also make this fast forward to see how you were approaching. So this is definitely an inspector might ask. Also you need to know you can also export the playback. Okay. So next the surveyor could ask you to show him your alarm log. In this alarm log, he will basically check all the alarms that you have received during arrival, and he will cross check that particular alarm with your acknowledgement time. The time difference between your alarm generation and alarm acknowledgement should be within explanatory range, and it should not be very huge time difference, and you should be able to explain why there was any delay, if there is any delay. Okay, so basically this is what he will check. So in Furono we have logbook here, log. You go to navigation log, we have two logs. This is voyage log, particularly this is every hour, and detail is every minute. Okay, so this is your logbook. You can show him directly here. So we have this logbook here in our ECDIS, but remember some ECDIS they don't have this feature, logbook feature. In that case you cannot do nothing. Just tell him that for this particular ECDIS we don't have this any feature for logbook, but in case you have, then you should be able to demonstrate and show him where you can access this logbook in your ECDIS. To show me the list of ENCs that is applicable to your current passage, current route. So for this you need to go to your charts, and in this section also he will ask you show me all the ENCs that is coming on your route. I mean what all ENCs are there, and also he will ask you to show me if all that ENC is what you call up to date or not. So what you need to do is go select your route. I think if you are second mate you already will be familiar with this procedure. Select your route and click and apply. Then when you will click apply, it will take some time and generate one report here. This will be your all the list of your ENCs that are lying around your route, and actions will show like it is updated or not. Maybe actions might say renew, up to date, so status should be up to date and action should be no action, something like this. And also for color coding, all your ENC should be green, or this how you call it, light green or something. Also one thing, this is your compilation scale. So as you can see now, it is showing large scale ENC available. Please make sure when your vessel is at berth, this should not be large scale or should not be overscale. It should be exactly at compilation scale. For LOP, if your vessel was at anchor, make sure you are complying with your company procedure for position fixing. Like for my company, they say to fix vessel position every hour for vessel at anchorage. Okay, so you should be plotting LOP. Generally avoid taking a GPS fix if your vessel is close to land. If you are very far away, like more than 24-25 nautical miles, then you can use GPS fix. But when you are within 15-20 miles, you should probably use a land to plot your LOPs, because he is going to come and cross check. Are you plotting position fixed by more than one means, that is GPS. So you should be using LOP also to fix your vessel position. And also in this case he will ask you how you show me in case of GPS failure, how do you plot your ship's DR position. This is also a very important question. So in that case you have to come to LOP, and I will tell you for Furono ECDIS, I don't know about the rest. For Furono, when you plotting LOP, just use 3 range or 3 bearing. You will, and then when you put 3 range and 3 bearing, record will come on second, but as soon as you put the 3rd bearing or 3rd range, this DR option will be available. Okay, just for information I'll show you. I will go add. See, on the second option it is coming record, and on the 3rd, as soon as I make 3rd bearing and I do add, this DR option will come. So DR option is applicable when you have more than 3 range and bearing. Okay, so when I will press this DR, my ship's position will shift to whatever, but as my GPS is working now, so I will not do. In order to demonstrate, you need to change your system sensor to local sensor. Currently I am at system and local at system sensor setting. So I will go to local, save. When I will save, my local sensor setting will pop up, and here I will put manual. Once I put manual, my GPS ECDIS will stop taking feed from GPS and will rely on manual position feed. So in that case, what I will do is I will plot 3 range and 3 bearing, and then I will press DR, and my vessel position will shift to that particular DR. I hope it's clear. Also make sure you have no unapproved devices connected to your ECDIS. This port that you are getting on ECDIS is only for updating purposes, and you should not connect any USB pen drives, USB mouse, keyboard or any other thing or extension hubs to your ECDIS, especially when the vessel is at port and you are expecting any inspection. So that time you make sure you take it out, and your port should be plugged in with a USB blocker, and it should not be empty. So one piece of advice: if your Navtex and AIS is connected to your ECDIS, please make sure your Navtex messages, all messages status are red, because there has been a deficiency that the inspector found the status unread. So please make sure all your warnings and meteorological warnings, everything is in red, and there is no any unread messages. Same goes for your AIS. All of your messages should be in red condition. And when AIS and Navtex messages will be read, it will show something like this. Otherwise there will be a yellow mark S or N. Please make sure there is no mark remaining. Let's talk about user chart. I will attach a list of user chart which is mandatory. Mandatory and required, minimum required by the authorities and by the inspector, what they want to see. You can stop the video and take a screenshot for your reference. Let's start one by one. One is your, at every waypoint you should have this user chart, PPI, whatever. If you are at open ocean, what is your company policy for position fixing at open sea? So that will be here. Plan position, position plotting interval, your engine room status, your bridge watch level A or B, depending upon your company policy, what terminology they use, you put here, and your security level. This is bare minimum what you need to do. Then your no-go areas, navigation warnings. Make sure all navigation warning that you receive on your ECG and that is coming on your route, please make sure you plot them with a separate user chart and name it navigation warning 5 or so, that you can easily present to the inspector that I'm plotting all navigation warning. For echo sounder, also again depending upon your company policy, at what depths your company wants your echo sounder to be switched on. As for my company it is 100 meters, so I have plotted a user chart, switch on echo sounder, and also there will be a statement for coastal waters, and for your restricted and congested waters, what is the minimum depth alarm to maintain. Just check your policy and put the same, like I have put switch on echo sounder, change echo sounder depth alarm to 3 meters. Okay, when I will go to more shallower water, I will change this to 1 meter. So make sure you have this entry. Then comes your pre-arrival checks, 1 hour notice. This is as usual. Call master should be there, call master, and 1 hour notice, and 2 master engine room. This is important, and they check this. Look ahead setting. Okay, so when you are approaching to a restricted or congested water or a fairway, make sure you change your look ahead setting. It is better to plot a user chart so that the inspector, you can directly show to inspector that you are complying. This is more intuitive and gives a good impression on the inspector. So it's better to put a user chart. Any no-go areas, parallel indexing is a must. And then coming to your contingency anchorages, again parallel indexing. Here contingency anchorages. Then no-go areas. So no-go areas, I have been seeing one very frequent deficiency, that is no-go areas were not plotted properly. So the logic behind plotting no-go areas is not just your depths less than your vessel's draft. I mean, the idea is, if my ship's draft is 7 meter, so my shallow contour is 10 and my safety contour is 15 meter. So in that case, I will plot my no-go areas for my dynamic draft. So 7 meters plus my UKC plus my squat will be somewhere around 9 meters. I would say I will take 9 meters. So from any depths below 9 meters, I will make it as no-go areas, not just below 7. Below 7 obviously I cannot go, but you also need to take account for your UKC and your squat. So no-go areas you plot for your dynamic draft, not for your static draft. Again, there should be a point of no return and abort point. So abort point and point of no return is generally after you pick up pilot, not before. After you pick up pilot, just plot one abort point. Abort point is basically from here you can go back. So as my ship's draft is 7, so I can go back to make a U-turn, go outside the channel and come back, or I can anchor here, or I can somewhere anchor there. This is abort point. Point of no return is where you cannot return, you have to proceed forward. Like this is my point of no return. I cannot go to port or starboard because I have shallower water on both my port and starboard. So this becomes my point of no return. So I have to keep following the straight path, or if I have any emergency, I need to anchor inside the inside the channel. And more importantly, plot your position. For open sea, what is your company policy? Most probably it will be every end of watch or every 4 hours in open sea. Make sure you plotting GPS fixes every 4 hours, because inspector is definitely going to come and check this if you are complying with your policy or not. Also this policy, that your company policy that you need to plot position every 4 hours should also be mentioned in your passage plan. So it is contradicting, like it is mentioned in your policy as well as in your passage plan that you need to plot every 4 hours. So make sure you comply, because then it will be 2 violations, that you are not following your company policy, also you are not following your passage plan. Also, if your vessel is transiting any heightened security area, for example, my vessel was transiting UK MTO and MSC HRA. So here in this position, you need to mention that you are entering UK MTO and MSC HOA VRA, and your security level maintained inside. Security level 2 is maintained. So this needs to be plotted. Also make sure this is also mentioned in your passage plan, that you are maintaining security level 2 from this position to so and so position. And when you have exited this HRA area, then make sure you write again security level 1 outside VRA. Okay.